Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sports Talk from the Crib. I'm your host, Tanner Christian. And coming up on today's episode, we're going to do a little Thursday night football recap. We're going to get into what Justin Fields is saying about his coaches. And which 0-2 team is going to turn it around this weekend. Because, you know, when you use the first 2-3 games in the NFL, you start off 0-2, like 0-3. Playoff hopes are already in jeopardy. So we're going to get into those teams that get a little bit of blaming on who. So we have a little segment of that coming up on this episode. And before we get started, remember new episodes are airing every Tuesday and Friday. It's available on all streaming platforms. And as well as the website is sportstalkfromthecrib.com, or it streams earlier on the website 7 a.m. every Tuesday and Friday. So you'll be able to listen to it first thing. And be sure to check out social media. Feel the Heat Entertainment. It's Feel the Heat ENT. It's on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. So let's get it started. As our first topic is Justin Fields. As you know, everybody's following along this week. You got to ask about his inconsistent play that's happening so far the first two games. And basically kind of was like, well, blaming on coaching. Maybe it's coaching was his answer. So we got a big backlash. He kind of took comments back a little bit saying, hey, he's never going to throw his coaches on the bus. Never going to throw teammates under and blame them. It's on me. If I had missed a pass or if they drop a pass, you know, it's on me. I could do better. And that's obviously Justin Fields can be playing better. But is it a thing now? Are we blaming it on the coaches? Are we blaming it on Justin Fields? Or is blaming on the organization because they haven't been very good. And neither has Justin Fields. So let's just run it back. Let's get a little bit about Justin Fields here. He's 24 years old. This is his third year in the league. You know, his early season struggles, and this makes weird kind of fallout the first two games because what does Justin Fields do best? Running, right? And he's not running the ball. So I don't know, he's afraid to get a hit, afraid to get, injured, or they want him to be more of a pocket passer. It doesn't seem like they're really utilizing his game. But there's this crazy, video coming out about what is Justin Fields looking at on the field? And that's one of the things he mentioned why coaching was because he's not pulling the trigger on the ball. He's holding on to the ball way too long. He's getting sacked a lot is one of the problems. And this seems like, hey, you got to throw the ball here. And if it's not there, you're being too hesitant about it. But this year, he only has a total of 5 designed runs. What did he do best last year? Remember he went on that crazy 5-6 game stretch where he was this nuts? Like Justin Fields, in 3 games last year, he ran for over 130 rushing yards. There's a 5-game span where he had 568 rushing yards. You couldn't stop him. He was looking like Michael Vick-esque like. He was looking like Lamar Jackson in his MVP year. That's how great he was playing in that stretch. So to go from that to this, what happened? Who are we blaming it on? And the coaching staff does deserve some blame. Justin Fields deserves some blame. Look at his career stats. He's only at 59.8% completion percentage. 4,539 yards passing. 26 touchdowns. 24 interceptions. He has the worst starting record, I think, in NFL history. He's 5-22 now. Look at Pat Mahomes. He has the winningest. And for the first 3 years, Justin Fields has one of the worst win percentages of all time. He was 2-8 his rookie year, 3-12 last year, and right now he's 0-2. So when you look at it from that standpoint, it's not very good, right? Man, what could be better? Do we blame Justin Fields for letting that slip? I kind of don't, kind of do. I don't think it's going to be a problem in the locker room. But I guess because of the position he plays quarterback. You expect that position to be the leader, galvanize the guys, make them better, and just kind of excel and like take the high road, I guess, when you're the quarterback. And that wasn't the case. But look at Chicago Bears in general as an organization. What do they do before Justin Fields? They drafted Mitch Trubisky over Pat Mahomes. As you can see, that really didn't work. That was a previous regime. Then they have old Matt Nagy coaching Justin Fields, and he gets fired. And now they bring in this new guy, defensive minded, not really on offense. I mean, this is get Justin Fields, and this staff is not the one who drafted him, and it just doesn't make sense what they're doing in Chicago. Let's put it this way: I don't even know how to fathom this. Is the Chicago Bears franchise has never had a quarterback to begin with, and now their defense sucks, and their defensive coordinator had to resign because the feds raided his house. What's going on in Chicago? So the defense that has been really nothing, horrible. And you got a defensive-minded head coach. What are we doing to help the guy? They tried to trade a second-round pick last year with Chase Claypool, bringing him over for Pittsburgh. That hasn't worked. They were questioning his effort in week 1. He bounced back a little bit last week. What we do? We brought in DJ Moore to help him in that receiving core. Give him the ball. Justin Fields, DJ Moore, that should be a lethal combo. They should be using like Justin Fields' legs and athleticism to help it out, get him out of the pocket, get him on the roll, have him the opportunity where he can get out in the open field, where he can see the field better. I remember coming out of Ohio State, I had a lot of questions about Justin Fields, but like the athleticism is there. The fear factor is there when it comes to his legs, because man, the guy can make everybody miss him. Once you get out in the open field, it fears him. It's Michael Vick like. But he's not a pocket passer. He never really will be. But you have to have better coaching to help improve with that. Because you look at, say, let's just bring up some different coaching quarterbacks, right? Look at the difference in Jared Goff from the Rams when he got Jeff Fisher from then he got Sean McVay. Turned him into better. And it helped his career keep going and not be labeled as a bust. You look at Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. Doug Pearson becomes the head coach under him. Trevor Lawrence's first year was horrific. Then last year they led him to the playoffs and won that game. Coaching. You look what Brian Daboll did with Josh Allen in Buffalo as his offensive coordinator, helped him progress and be what he is now. And now he's trying to do that with Daniel Jones as the New York Giants. I mean, Daniel Jones is a different story, but he's really has improved under him. This is the second year. We'll see how it goes. We'll get to the Thursday night recap here, but those are just some examples. Look at Mike McDaniel with Tua Tagovailoa. Look at the difference between having Brian Flores as your head coach. Tua couldn't get nothing done. He really didn't look much of a quarterback. And look what happens when you give the guy a couple of weapons like he had in Alabama and you really coach him up. Now he looks phenomenal. So there's just some examples of how much a coach can help improve a player. And I don't think Justin Fields will ever really improve in Chicago. That's the biggest problem. Like, yes, you got to improve as a player. But coaching comes a long way with that. Pat Mahomes in Kansas City, perfect fit. Questions of him coming out of Texas Tech. Is he going to be that guy? Andy Reid, veteran, head coach, took the Eagles to all those NFC Championship games, was with the Packers when they had that whole crew with Mike Holmgren and Delph and Brett Favre. Like, Donovan McNabb became a great quarterback for the Philadelphia. Like, Andy Reid was the perfect coach for Pat Mahomes. So those are just some examples of how coaching really can play a part in a quarterback's career. And that's the biggest downfall with Justin Fields. I don't think he has great coaching. I don't feel like they're utilizing his talent that he has. They're trying to utilize him in areas where he's not too great in. So this has to change and go back to those 5 games during the season last year. Yes, they were only 3-12, but at least they're in the game. It looked bad. So blame it on who? We're blaming on Justin. You're not going to go through this and think we're not going to blame you for something, because we are. Bears organization, you deserve blame. This coaching staff, you deserve some big time blame. So we'll see how this kind of unfolds here going forward, and if it's going to hurt the locker room. But speaking of who they play next, they're playing the Chiefs. They're playing Pat Mahomes. It can get ugly real quick, like 40-10 type of game. I'm scared for Chicago this weekend. I don't know what team's going to be there. I hope they give it and help it become a game. But Kansas City's got Travis Kelce back. They got Chris Jones back on defense. He's going to be coming after you, Justin. What are you going to do about it? So we'll see what happens. I mean, oh man, it could go one way or the other. It could be competitive, or this could trickle down, and this could be a dumpster fire really quick in Chicago, where they just free fall for the rest of this year and fire everybody. But it could possibly happen. We'll see what happens on Sunday. But it's not looking good in Chicago for all you fans out there for the Bears, man. It's just not good. All right, let's jump over to a Thursday night football recap here. We had the 49ers and the Giants. Daniel Jones versus Brock Purdy. Here's another example of coaching, right? Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy. It's working. The guy hasn't lost a regular season game yet. 49ers improved to 3-0 with a 30-12 victory over the Giants. Brock Purdy on the night, 25 of 37, 310 yards, and a couple of TDs. McCaffrey had 18 carries, 85 yards, a TD. Deebo Samuel, they were without Brandon Ayuk in this game, so Deebo took on a big role. He had 6 catches, 129 yards, and a touchdown. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones is over there, 22 of 32, 137 yards, and a pick. Saquon Barkley still out with the ankle problem. Matt Breida stepped in with a whopping 4 carries, 17 yards, but he did score a touchdown. So anybody who swapped out Saquon for Matt Breida, you got a touchdown in your fantasy football game tonight. But hey, poor Giants. They went back to earth. You know, they defeated the Arizona Cardinals in this crazy game, second half on Sunday, but we all know they were tanking. So Giants, you're not a very good football team. Niners, that is a very good football team because they're coached well. Kyle Shanahan. And any question about Brock Purdy, I had some questions like, was it a fluke last year? You know, very last pick, 7th round pick of the draft, all of a sudden coming in and having so much success that quick. Look at this. Is he a system quarterback? Brock Purdy struggled earlier in the night, but then he just got it going. Started slinging it. George Kittle had 90 receiving yards as well. Getting the tight end involved. About time. This team's dangerous. This team could be really dangerous and be one of the best teams in the NFC. Maybe they finally get over that hump, get back to the NFC Championship game. Hopefully, Niners fans, y'all can get back to the Super Bowl because you've had a squad for it seems like a decade and you haven't won one. But this is kind of like Daniel Jones, the Giants. They ain't really going anywhere. Sorry, Brian Dowell. You're trying. You're definitely trying. But here's another classic example. Justin Fields, Chicago. You got Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy doing their thing and being. It helps, though, when you have Debo. It helps when you have Christian McCaffrey, that big trade they had last year. It helps when you have a defense that knows what the heck they're doing out there and can get you a few turnovers so you can get the ball back. You're not on the field all the time as well. So it's a big difference in games, and I think the Niners right now are the best team in the NFC, 3-0. I expect them to definitely make the playoff run, barring any kind of crazy injuries. You see why they moved on for Trey Lance, because Brock Purdy's the guy. He's the answer. And Sam Darnold's the backup. We got a few snaps in again Thursday night. All right, now let's get into this next topic. It's going to be which 0-2 team can turn it around. I put some together some 0-2 teams. Chicago Bears? No, I'm just kidding. Houston, Texas. No. I'm putting together a few teams here that could possibly turn around and make the playoffs. I still have a little bit of faith in some of them, so we're going to tell you about it. One is the Bengals. They're 0-2. Chargers, 0-2. Broncos, 0-2. Sean Payton, can he turn around? Russell Wilson hasn't really played that bad, actually. The Vikings, they're 0-2. So, let's start with the Bengals. Joe Burrow re-aggravated his calf. I think that's part of the reason why he has been struggling. To start the year, he's only had 304 passing yards through 2 games, a couple of touchdowns and a pick. They get the Rams this week. And I think that would be a time to really bounce back and get things back on the right track and get in the winning column. So I don't know what's the whole injury. He's supposedly re-aggravated it, a calf injury. So we'll see how that comes about. We'll see how he performs against the Rams. But Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals, or since he's been drafted by them, they've been great. Hopefully that duo, and tandem with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase gets on track too. It may be a good game to do it in. The Rams aren't the same Rams on defense. They still have Aaron Donald, but that secondary is not what it once was. Everybody's been dropping points on them, so the Niners has smoked them and scoring over 30 against them last week. So I expect Joe Burrow and these Bengals at home against the Rams to get back in the winning column, not fall 0-3. So, Chargers, Justin Herbert, you're playing at the Vikings. This is going to be the sign of this. Chargers and Vikings playing each other. If the Chargers lose this game, I'm blaming it on all of them. I'm blaming it on Justin Herbert. I'm blaming it on their coach. I'm blaming it on their GM. I'm blaming it on them. I'm blaming it on that defense. I'm blaming it on them. This is part of that blaming it on segment. We're taking blame here. Justin Herbert, 534 passing yards, 3 TDs. He hasn't turned the ball over. He hasn't really played that bad. But for some reason, we have to get that final drive, like a field goal, maybe that pass to get the first down, run out the rest of the clock. It just seems like it doesn't happen. So I put a lot of blame on Justin Herbert. Kellen Moore, I feel like, has called a great game as their new offensive coordinator in the first 2 games, aside from how you finish. And that seems to be plaguing this Charger team ever since those Phillip Rivers days, and it's still haunting them. Austin Eckler is out last game. They've lost both games by a 1 score. So Austin Eckler may not play again coming up this Sunday. But the Chargers have a good enough team where I don't think they really need him against Minnesota. But maybe they do, like for the rushing, because that's one thing they are going to be missing is the rushing game for Chargers. But so I won't blame Justin Herbert in this organization. If they drop 0-3, you got to get rid of the head coach. I'm sorry. So let's talk about the Vikings side of it. Kirk Cousins has been kind of balling. He has 7 or 8 708 passing yards already, 6 TDs and a pick. Problem is, Dalvin Cook left in free agency. You got Madison bringing in a running back. You guys cannot run the ball. What does he have, like 60 yards on the year? He's averaging like a putrid under 3 yards a carry. Like, it's pretty bad. The run game is non-existent. It just doesn't exist at all. So Chargers at Vikings. Who we got? Who can bounce back from this 0-2? Who has a chance here? Vikings, you're at home. You should be taking care of business when you're at home. But the Chargers, you have to win this game. You have to. Maybe the Vikings lose this game since Kirk Cousins is on his, final deal in his contract. Hey, New York Jets, maybe offer. Screw it. Get him. So you have a quarterback. Get Kirk Cousins to go with Garrett Wilson. Somebody's got to give that guy the ball. Maybe they'll run it with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook over there. Go join your former teammate, Dalvin Cook in New York. That'll be a storyline. If the Jets just offer him a first, second round pick, who cares? You have to if you're the Jets. Anyways, getting back to this. If the Vikings fall for 0-3, they're done. If the Chargers fall to 0-3, they're done. I'm going to go with the Chargers because they just have too much talent, even though their defense is bad. You got Bosa and Mack doing the pass rush. Khalil Mack is not what he was, but he's still decent enough. This defense shouldn't be that bad. Got Derwin James in the back, in the secondary. Where are you? Let's get it done. But I will pick the Chargers. Next, the Broncos. You're 0-2. Sean Payton. We're wondering if Sean Payton and Russell Wilson will coexist. So far, I think it's been okay. Russell Wilson has 485 passing yards, 5 TDs, and a pick on the year. He hasn't played bad. He converted a Hail Mary last game, but their defense led up. Well, they lost in 2-point conversion, but their defense led up 35 points to the Washington Commanders. I thought their defense was supposed to be pretty solid. What happened to it? Why is it all of a sudden so bad? Vic Fangio's gone. And guess where he is? In Miami. And guess who the Broncos are playing? Miami. In Miami, where it's going to be hot on that side of the sideline because the sun just beams down. The shade's on the home side. We going to blame it on here. If the Broncos lose, of course, everybody's going to blame it on Russell Wilson, even if it's not the case, but I just blame it on the defense. I blame it on Sean Payton, too. I'm going to put some blame on Russell Wilson. I think they need to use that Mims Jr. guy a little bit more. He had a couple of deep passes last game. Then all of a sudden, the second half, they didn't use them. I don't understand. So hopefully they get a little more comfortable with Sean Payton in the offense, with Russell Wilson. I think it's at least it's watchable this year, unlike last year where it wasn't even watchable. So we'll see how that comes up. But sorry, Broncos are going 0-3 this year. Vic Fangio, your former head coach, is defensive coach now in Miami, man. He's going to stop you. You really think you're going to do something against Miami? Tyreek Hill may torch you. He's going on that path for 2,000 receiving yards this year. So, out of everybody here, out of the Bengals, Chargers, Broncos, Vikings, I'm picking the Bengals and Chargers to turn it around and have a chance at the playoffs. But if any of these teams go 0-3, I mean, they're pretty much done. Unless they go on a run at the end. So, those who I pick. Vikings, I'm going to say no. Broncos, I'm going to say no as well. Before we get out of here, we got some breaking news in. Trayvon Diggs, the corner for Dallas, tore his ACL in practice. This is a pretty damn big loss for him because the Cowboys defense, they're another team that's really pushing the NFC championship. They maybe Super Bowl contenders this year. They have the team to do it, but losing Trayvon Diggs is huge because he kind of corners like half the field. You know, you kind of don't want to pass towards him because he may pick you off, and you could leave a man-to-man out there. So this is a huge loss for him. They do have the crafty little veteran Stephon Gilmore. He's not like how he once was either. Jordan Lewis, he's coming back from a foot injury. He played a few snaps last year, so those two are definitely going to have to step their game up. They got Bland, came over last year from the Colts, so he would probably play the opposite side of Stephon Gilmore. That's a huge loss because he allows Micah Parsons and that crew up front to just get after the quarterback because you can trust him on the outside one-on-one. And this is a huge loss for this defense going forward. We'll see how much the impact really is. It's going to be really up to Micah Parsons and that crew, Lawrence up front, to really get after the quarterback now. So that's be something to watch in the coming weeks. You know, another one of the most gruesome injuries this past week, though, was Nick Chubb, man. One of the best running backs in the league. He's so underappreciated, and he plays so good and well. Man, that guy is a beast. And for him to go out like that, by that tackle by Minkah Fitzpatrick, I'm not saying it was dirty, but it's definitely unnecessary. I believe so. That's one of the tough injury losses there this week. And Dallas using Trayvon Diggs, man. Like, that is huge. That is really huge. All right, and that'll do it for today's episode. I want to thank you all for joining me here on Sports Talk from the Crib. It's your favorite sports host, Tanner Christian. Remember, we're available on all streaming platforms, and new episodes air every Tuesday and Friday. Check out the website, sportstalkfromthecrib.com. Stream the podcast on there, as well as check out the blog posts and NFL scores going on throughout the games. You can be on the website and check them out there. It's live. So check us out on social media. I keep wanting to say Twitter. I see the social media thing and keep wanting to say Twitter, but it's X, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Feel the Heat Entertainment. It's Feel the Heat ENT. All right, so I hope you all enjoy your weekend. Have some fun. Get ready for that more NFL action. And I'll see you on the next 2-minute drill for NFL Week 3. Peace.